Madam President, Admirals, Generals, Excellencies, dear faithful fans of CyCon. It is an honor and privilege to welcome you to the 11th annual CyCon conference here in Tallinn. 11 years might sometimes seem like a short amount of time, relatively. Those of us who have children know that 11-year-old carbon-based life form might not be the most intelligent and established being. 11 years in cyber, however, dates us back to the pre-gunpowder era in military terms. Throughout those 11 years, the research staff of the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence has pushed the boundaries of governmental and NATO thought on cyber. We have been raising important topics years before the alliance or the member nations were comfortable to discuss them. Already in 2008, our legal team concluded an analysis on the relationship of cyber attack and NATO Article 5. It took 6 long years, and only in 2014, the Wales Summit Declaration affirmed cyber defense as part of NATO's core tasks of collective defense. Our center's work on the applicability of existing international law on cyber operations, known as the Tallinn Manual and Tallinn Manual 2.0, raised heated debates both amongst the allies and the adversaries. Our center has been running exercises and studying offensive cyber operations for more than 5 years now. Only at the last year's Brussels summit was the alliance comfortable enough to shyly mention incorporating voluntary cyber effects into the operations. The current hot topics like election meddling, attribution, AI, autonomous systems, they are on our research agenda and will be discussed in the coming 3 days here at CyCon. While our center's research is perhaps well known to you, the CyCon regulars, I would like to briefly highlight the 2 exercises that our center hosts amongst many other important activities in our busy agenda. In January, we held the 5th iteration of Exercise Crosswords, the exercise that practices offensive cyber operations and incorporating them into the kinetic operations. In a highly experimentative environment, the commander had to choose from his toolbox between the available options of cyber or kinetic special operations tasks, and in order to achieve his objectives. We believe that with Exercise Crosswords, the center has filled a very important gap in preparing our troops for the modern battlefield. Just last month in April, we held the world's largest annual international live-fire cyber defense exercise, Locked Shields. 23 teams from our member nations participated, and the total number of international personnel involved exceeded 1,500 people. The exercise was so massive that we received an unexpected compliment. On a VIP day, we hosted several groups of high-level visitors. One of the groups was industry executives. And an executive from one of the top 3 largest military defense companies in the world, after he had seen the exercise, I asked him, so now when you've seen it, how large do you think the center is? And he said, well, it sounds like a trick question. You're probably much smaller than I think. Are you less than 1,000 people? I said 60. How about 60? 60. This is how powerful is the leverage of cooperation, the first C in NATO CCD, COE, cooperation. Our 21 and growing number of member nations do send us their nation's best and brightest, who work very hard to bring you the world-class events like Exercises Crosswords, Locked Shields, and this CyCon conference. But we could not do this alone. Throughout the 11 years, our center has built a community of cyber enthusiasts who work together, sometimes voluntarily, just for pizza and t-shirt, in order to advance the cause of cyber awareness amongst our growing number of like-minded member nations. Also, for delivering you this CyCon, our center's hardworking team of 60 people has teamed up with several volunteers and partners. It is a cooperative team effort. Our dear audience, you, the faithful, regular CyCon goers, this year you come from 47 countries and 5 continents. Amazing. we are very much aware of the proliferation of cyber conferences this day and era. We thank you for choosing CyCon once again. We have heard it being mentioned that CyCon has a special vibe, and our center is working very hard to keep that CyCon vibe alive and well. We tremendously appreciate the commitment of our world-class speakers. We do not have budget to pay speaker fees, so all the outstanding experts that you will see as our keynotes and panelists, they do it for economy class tickets to Tallinn and your applause. So while we are being cheap, please you, the audience, don't. To prove that we're not completely stingy, I would like to now reveal what is inside our speaker gift bag this year. Now, you saw the Estonian weather this morning. We have several jokes regarding Estonian weather. One of them goes like this. So, what did you do last summer? Oh, I had to work that day. Well, last summer, the hot summer of 2018 had so many sunny days that some local entrepreneurs launched an organic Estonian tanning oil set. So this is our speaker gift this year. Hope you see it. CyCon branded. Our conference dinner tomorrow night is in the format of a beach party, but in order to prepare for the regular Estonian weather, it is an indoor beach, so no need for sunscreen there. We could not deliver you the CyCon without the help and partnership of our sponsors. Being a governmental, non-commercial organization, our budget is multiple times lower than you would guess. Trust me, I know. So this year our diamond sponsors are Guardtime, a rising star among the Estonian many cybersecurity startups, and the most promising tech startup from the Seattle area, Microsoft. Our conference agenda is, as always, packed with high-level, insightful keynotes and expert panels divided into three areas: strategy, technology, law. I know I'm doing injustice to those superb events that I don't have time to mention here, but I had to make some choices, so I would like to highlight the crown jewels amongst the priceless gold. I will start from the very last day, Friday. Right before the closing remarks, we'll have a keynote panel on Estonian digital story. We noticed that most of the visitors to our center and our events ask many questions about Estonia. And perhaps we've been too shy on telling the success story of e-Estonia. How did a country of 1.3 million people that just broke away from 50 years of Soviet occupation, how did we create an exemplary e-governance system? How has our private sector launched 4 unicorn companies? Well, we'll have 2 exciting entrepreneurs and digital legends on this stage to tell it to you. Alan Martinson can be called the grand old man of Estonian startups because he launched startups before the term startup was even there. And one of his companies that he has founded, the Starship Enterprise of the ground delivery robots, might be the next Estonian unicorn. Then Taavi Kotka, he founded the biggest Estonian software firm, Webmedia, now rebranded as Nortal. Later, Taavi was mentoring governmental sector, helping to launch new e-governance initiatives. Taavi is now back in the private tech sector, exciting world of startups, so he has many interesting things to tell you. So don't leave early, stay until the end of Friday. Tomorrow on Thursday, we have a special event in the morning. The Women in Tech Breakfast with limited seats and prior registration required. We, the CyCon, do recognize that women are still critically underrepresented in the world of cyber. Therefore, CyCon is very proud that the number of female speakers has almost doubled from last year, from 16 to 28. Today we have a long and thrilling day, just about to begin. The closing session of today will take place in this room, 17:15. That's 5:15 for the non-military types. We have 3 members of the center's high-level advisory board discussing exciting topic of information operations and cyber-enabled information operations. And close attention now, the 3 members of our advisory board are General David Petraeus, Dr. Herb Lin from Stanford, and moderated by former director of the center, Sven Sakov. And another session I would like to highlight is the Cyber Commanders panel, taking place here on this stage right after the first coffee break, 10:50. CyCon does stand for a conference on cyber conflict, and the military aspect is always something that we want to bring in and emphasize on CyCon. So we have a panel of cyber commanders from Germany, Italy, and the United States European Command, moderated by another esteemed member of our advisory board, Admiral Michael Rogers. And for the very first keynote of CyCon, right after my excessively long opening remarks, throughout 11 years of CyCon, we have been extremely fortunate to have our opening keynote delivered by the President of Estonia, who is so well known amongst the cyber-savvy crowd of CyCon that she needs no further introduction. So, Madam President, please, the CyCon is yours.